Audio Jungle.
I can hear you call my name. I can hear you call my name.
Hey, English Journey podcast listeners, and welcome to another deep dive with me, where we take a look at some fascinating stuff.
Indeed.
And today, we are heading off to Turkey.
Ooh, very nice.
We're going to be using a YouTube video to guide us today. It's from a channel called Joyous Travel.
Okay.
And they have put together a list of 10 must-see spots in Turkey. And we're going to be taking a look at that list and just going into a bit more detail.
Wonderful.
Picking out some of the things that really stand out to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm really looking forward to this one, actually. Turkey is somewhere I've always really wanted to visit.
Yeah, me too, actually. I mean, what I find fascinating about Turkey is that it sort of bridges Europe and Asia. It's been a crossroads of civilizations for such a long time.
That's right.
And that really comes across in this video. You know, we've got historical treasures, stunning landscapes, vibrant cities, you name it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really great episode. And for those of you listening in from the English Journey podcast, I think it's going to be a great way to just really expand your vocabulary and immerse yourselves in the language. You know, hear all these different place names and really get a sense of what Turkey is all about.
And hopefully be inspired to take a trip of your own one day.
Exactly. And if you are listening in from the English Journey podcast, we release a new episode every Friday at 1 p.m., packed with all sorts of fun and exciting ways to help you improve your English.
Brilliant.
So let's get started, shall we?
Let's do it.
So the video starts off by highlighting Istanbul.
Of course.
Now, Istanbul is considered by many people to be the crown jewel of Turkey.
It's a beautiful city.
It is. And it's a real melting pot of cultures. You
Hmm.
know, it's got this ancient history, but it also have, you know, a thriving modern side to it as well.
Absolutely. And you can really see that in the architecture. The
Yeah.
way that the old and the new kind of come together.
Yeah. And the video highlights the Grand Bazaar and the Egyptian spice market.
Ooh.
Now, I've heard so much about these places,
Yes.
and I don't know about you, but for me, those are places I'd love to go to.
Oh, definitely me too. I love that kind of bustling market atmosphere, all the sights, the sounds, the smells, the colors. It's incredible.
Yeah, and just, you know, finding those unique little souvenirs and things like that.
Yeah.
Really getting a sense of the local culture.
Absolutely. And speaking of culture, Istanbul has some incredible architectural marvels.
Yes, it does.
You've got the Hagia Sophia, which is a prime example.
Hagia Sophia.
Yeah, you know, it was originally built as a cathedral back in the 6th century,
Wow.
and then it became a mosque, and now it's a museum.
Wow.
Talk about a history.
It's incredible, isn't it, how a building can stand for so long and go through so many different phases and have so many different meanings to different people.
And it's not just the history, it's the actual architecture itself. I mean, the dome is just breathtaking, a real feat of engineering.
Yeah, and inside there are all these intricate mosaics.
Yeah, it's stunning.
I'd love to see that.
Me too.
So another thing that the video suggests is visiting the Galata Tower. Now, this tower is from the 14th century, and it offers panoramic views over the whole of Istanbul.
Wow.
You can see the Bosphorus Strait, all the minarets piercing the skyline, the whole city stretching out before you.
Yeah, you get a real sense of the scale of the city.
I bet it's absolutely breathtaking.
I think so.
So from Istanbul, we're moving on to a place called Ölüdeniz.
Ölüdeniz.
Yeah, which is on the turquoise coast.
Okay.
Now, the name apparently means Dead Sea, which sounds a little bit ominous.
It does.
But apparently this place is anything but lifeless.
That's good to hear.
We're talking crystal clear turquoise waters, lush green forests, a real feast for the eyes.
That sounds idyllic.
Yeah. And the video specifically highlights the Ölüdeniz Blue Lagoon,
Okay.
which is a natural reserve famous for its calm waters.
Perfect for a swim then.
Yeah, or just relaxing.
Yeah.
And the video also mentions the food. Apparently, you can get really delicious fresh caught seafood there,
Oh,
particularly the grilled octopus.
okay. I'm getting hungry already.
Me too, actually. But if you're looking for a bit more adventure, you can also go paragliding in Ölüdeniz.
Paragliding.
Yeah.
Wow. So you can soar above those beautiful landscapes, see the lagoon sparkling below you, the coastline stretching out.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
It sounds incredible.
And for those of you listening in from the English Journey podcast who are particularly interested in history, there's also the ruins of Kayaköy.
Kayakoi.
Yeah, it's a deserted village with quite a poignant past. And it just gives you a sense of the region's history. The different people who've lived there, the different cultures that have come and gone.
Yeah, it's a real reminder that history is all around us.
It is, and I think places like that are really important to visit because they just make you think about the past in a different way.
Absolutely.
So from the coast, we then move inland to Aladağlar National Park.
Aladağlar National Park. Okay.
Yeah, this is a place for nature enthusiasts and adventure seekers.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So we're talking rugged mountains, alpine meadows, pristine forests, and apparently it's teeming with wildlife.
Wow.
Wild goats, brown bears, wolves, birds of prey, you name it.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. But I have to admit, when I heard about the bears, I was a little bit.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm not sure I'd be too keen on running into a bear in the wild.
Yeah, me either.
But the video reassures us that there are designated safe zones for visitors.
Oh, okay, so you can enjoy the park without worrying about bumping into anything too dangerous.
Exactly.
Good to know.
And speaking of enjoying the park, this place is a paradise for outdoor activity.
It is such as.
You can go camping, rafting, exploring with a guide.
Sounds great.
And the video specifically mentions the Kapuzbaşı Falls,
Okay.
which are a series of cascading waterfalls that plunge into this crystal clear pool.
Wow. I bet that's a sight to see.
Yeah. And after a day of hiking, I imagine that would be the perfect place to just cool off and relax and soak in the beauty of the surroundings.
Definitely.
So next up, we're heading to a place called Pamukkale.
Pamukkale.
Yeah, and this is a natural wonder that's often referred to as the Cotton Castle.
Cotton Castle.
Yeah, so basically it's got these cascading white terraces that have been formed by mineral-rich thermal springs.
Wow.
So imagine these glistening white pools,
Okay.
almost like a frozen waterfall flowing down the mountainside.
That sounds incredible. I've never seen anything like that.
It does sound pretty special, and apparently these pools are supposed to have healing properties as well.
Really?
Yeah, I'd love to go there and just dip my toes in the water and experience it for myself.
Yeah, I can imagine it's quite a surreal experience.
Yeah, and what makes Pamukkale even more unique is that there's an ancient Greco-Roman city located right on top of the terraces.
Wow.
It's called Hierapolis.
Hierapolis.
Yeah, so you can wander through these ruins of temples, bathhouses, a grand theater, and just imagine what life was like all those centuries ago.
That's amazing. So you've got this natural wonder and then this historical wonder right next to each other.
Yeah, it's quite a combination, isn't it?
It is.
So from this natural wonder, we're moving on to a vibrant city called Izmir. Yeah, this is one of Turkey's most beautiful and historic cities.
Okay.
And the video highlights the Kemeraltı market.
The Kemeraltı market.
Yeah, it's this labyrinth of narrow streets filled with all sorts of shops selling spices, textiles, traditional crafts, souvenirs, you name it.
I can imagine it's a real assault on the senses.
I bet it is all the sights, the sounds, the aromas.
Yeah, the hustle and bustle of it all.
Yeah, I can just picture it now.
Yeah.
But Izmir also has some architectural gems.
Oh, really? Like what?
So the video mentions the Hisar Mosque,
Okay.
which is one of the largest and most impressive mosques in Izmir,
I see.
known for its intricate designs and unique architectural style.
Okay.
And it also mentions Konak Square.
Konak Square.
Yeah, which is a central gathering place in the city, and it's home to the iconic Izmir Clock Tower,
Okay.
which is a real symbol of the city's Ottoman heritage.
Wonderful.
So I think we're going to leave it there for now.
Okay.
But we will be back soon to continue our deep dive into Turkey.
Looking forward to it.
See you soon.
Bye. And from those bustling markets and all that energy of Izmir, our next stop takes us back in time to Ephesus.
Ephesus.
A city steeped in ancient history.
Yeah.
You can just imagine walking through those amazingly well-preserved ruins. It was a really thriving Roman port city back in the day.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go there.
Me too.
Just imagine all those grand avenues and magnificent structures. I think I'd be particularly fascinated by the Library of Celsus
Oh, yeah.
with its towering facade and all those
Yeah.
intricate carvings.
Yeah, it's incredible to think, how important knowledge and learning were even back then in ancient Roman society.
It is.
That they would build such a magnificent structure to house all those scrolls and books.
It's a real testament to their civilization, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the Library of Celsus is just one highlight among many in Ephesus. You can also stroll down the Via dei Cureti, which was the main street,
Okay.
lined with shops and fountains and public buildings.
Yeah.
And you'll pass by the Temple of Hadrian, dedicated to the Roman emperor. And then there's the Grand Ancient Theater, one of the largest in the ancient world. It can hold up to 100,000 spectators.
Wow. Can you imagine being there for a performance surrounded by thousands of people?
Yeah, the atmosphere must have been incredible.
Yeah, and it's just amazing to think that these ruins, they transport us back to another time.
They do.
And they allow us to glimpse the lives and stories of the people who came before us.
Yeah, it's like stepping into a history book.
It's so from the ancient world to Alanya,
Alanya.
a captivating coastal city where history meets the sea.
Okay.
And Alanya has got some stunning beaches, including one called Cleopatra Beach.
Ooh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, named after the legendary Egyptian queen who supposedly bathed in its crystal clear waters.
Wow, a beach fit for a queen.
It is, isn't it? And I could just picture it, golden sands, sparkling turquoise waters, and then up above on this rocky cliff overlooking the coastline, you've got the majestic Alanya Castle.
Ah, yes, Alanya Castle.
A real sight to behold.
It is. It dates back to the 13th century. And it offers these breathtaking views. You can see the whole city, the coastline, the Taurus Mountains in the distance.
Wow, and I imagine exploring those ramparts and towers.
Feeling the echoes of history all around you.
Exactly. So the video also mentions the Damlataş Caves,
Okay.
which are these fascinating formations located just outside Alanya.
Mm.
And they're known for their unique stalagmite and stalactite formations. Those ones that kind of grow from the ceiling and the floor,
Yeah.
created over thousands of years by dripping water.
Wow. It sounds like an adventure for anyone who loves to explore those kind of hidden wonders.
It does, doesn't it? So from Alanya, we move on to Antalya,
I'll tell you that.
another charming coastal city with a rich history. And the old town Kalesi is this maze of narrow cobblestone streets lined with Ottoman-era houses, boutiques, cafes, you name it.
Oh, it sounds lovely.
And the video highlights Antalya's vibrant cultural scene.
Okay.
So it mentions the Hashim Ishkin Cultural Center, which hosts all sorts of events, art exhibitions, musical performances.
Sounds good.
And for those of you listening from the English Journey podcast who are interested in theater, there's also the Antalya State Theater.
Okay.
So you can imagine, enjoying a performance and then afterwards scrolling through the old town,
Yeah.
discovering hidden courtyards, sipping Turkish coffee at a traditional cafe, and just soaking in the atmosphere.
Yeah, sounds like a lovely place to spend an evening.
It does, doesn't it? And now for something completely different, we're going to Cappadocia.
Cappadocia.
Yeah, a region renowned for its really unusual landscape.
I've heard of it.
The video calls it a fairy tale land.
I could see why.
And those iconic fairy chimneys, they're just amazing.
And they're these towering cones of volcanic rock,
Yeah.
sculpted by wind and erosion over millions of years.
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it?
It is how nature can create such incredible formations.
Yeah, and the video highlights the experience of hot air ballooning over these landscapes.
Ooh.
Imagine drifting above the fairy chimneys as the sun rises. Wow. Painting the sky with all those vibrant colors.
It sounds magical.
It does, doesn't it? But that's not all.
There's more.
Cappadocia also has these incredible underground cities.
Underground cities.
So the video mentions the Kamakli and Derinkuyu underground cities,
Wow.
which are these vast networks of tunnels and chambers
Mhm.
carved into the soft volcanic rock centuries ago.
Wow.
Well, these cities, they provided refuge for early Christians who were trying to escape persecution.
Oh, I see.
And today you can explore them, and it's like stepping into this hidden world.
Yeah, a real testament to human ingenuity.
It is, isn't it? I mean, to think of these complex underground communities
Yes, thriving beneath the surface.
hidden from the outside world.
It's amazing.
It is. So Cappadocia really does offer this unique blend of natural wonders, historical intrigue, cultural significance.
It sounds like a must-see.
It does. And to round off our exploration of Turkey,
Hmm.
we're going to ascend Mount Nemrut.
Mount Nemrut.
Yeah, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site in southeastern Turkey. And it's famous for its summit, where you've got these colossal statues of ancient gods and kings standing guard overlooking the landscape.
Wow.
So imagine standing up there, surrounded by these towering stone figures as the sun sets, casting long shadows across the valley.
It sounds incredible.
It does. And these statues, they're the remnants of a royal tomb complex built by King Antiochus I of Commagene
Okay.
back in the 1st century BC.
Wow.
And they depict Greek and Persian deities alongside King Antiochus himself.
Wow. So you've got this real blend of Eastern and Western cultures.
Exactly. And it just shows you how Turkey has always been this crossroads of civilizations.
It does.
So I think Mount Nemrut would be an amazing place to just reflect on all those different cultures and beliefs and influences that have shaped this incredible country.
It would. And for those listening in from the English Journey podcast, just imagine describing these sites, using your English to really paint a vivid picture for your friends and family.
Exactly.
It's a fantastic way to practice your language skills.
It is. And as we're wrapping up this part of our deep dive, I'm just struck by the sheer diversity of Turkey.
Yeah.
We've seen bustling cities, tranquil beaches, ancient ruins, natural wonders, and each place has revealed a different facet of this captivating country.
It just makes you want to book a flight and experience it all for yourself.
It does. So, expert speaker, we've really enjoyed this virtual journey through Turkey.
It's been fantastic.
But the video we're using, it focuses on the highlights.
Right.
For people who are actually thinking of visiting Turkey, what are some essential things that they should know before they go?
That's a great question. I think the first thing to consider is visas.
Visas?
Yeah, because the requirements vary depending on your nationality.
Oh, right.
So it's really important to check the guidelines on the Turkish government website.
Yeah, make sure you do that well in advance.
Absolutely. You don't want any last-minute surprises.
And what about the language?
Well, obviously, learning a bit of Turkish would be great, but is English widely spoken?
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to learn a few phrases.
Me too.
But would I be able to get by with English?
Yeah, for the most part, in tourist areas, you'll find that English is pretty common.
Okay.
Especially in the big cities like Istanbul and Antalya.
Okay.
But if you're going off the beaten track to smaller towns and villages, you might need a bit more help.
Yeah.
A translation app or just some good old-fashioned gestures.
Right. And speaking of going off the beaten track, have you got any tips for our English Journey podcast listeners who are maybe looking for a more authentic experience? Something a bit less touristy.
I'd say rent a car.
Rent a car.
Yeah, and create your own itinerary.
Okay.
That way you can explore at your own pace and discover those hidden gems.
That sounds good.
Just be aware that driving in Turkey can be a bit of an adventure.
Oh.
The road conditions and driving styles might be a bit different from what you're used to.
Right.
So just be prepared for a few unexpected twists and turns.
Okay. And what about safety?
Well, generally Turkey is a safe country for tourists, but as with anywhere, just use common sense,
Right.
Be mindful of your belongings, especially in crowded places. Stay aware of your surroundings.
Okay.
And it's always a good idea to check the latest travel advisories from your home country.
Good advice.
Yeah.
And what about money matters?
So the currency in Turkey is the Turkish lira,
Okay.
and credit cards are widely accepted in most tourist areas and big establishments.
Okay.
But it's always handy to have some local currency on you as well.
Right, for the smaller purchases.
Yeah, or markets, or local transport.
And what's the best way to get around?
Well, Turkey has a really good transportation system.
Okay.
Domestic flights are efficient if you're covering long distances.
Right.
Buses are really popular and affordable,
Okay.
especially for traveling between cities and towns. Trains are available, but the network isn't as extensive.
So buses are probably the best option.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so we've covered visas, language safety, money, transport, any other essential tips?
Let me think. Pack light.
Okay.
Embrace the local culture. Oh, and be prepared to haggle in the markets.
Yeah.
It's part of the fun.
Right.
But most importantly, just go with an open mind and a sense of adventure.
Yeah.
Turkey is a country that will really surprise and delight you.
I think that's great advice. And for our English Journey podcast listeners, don't forget to pack your phrase book.
And your sense of adventure.
Yeah. And be open to practicing your English with the locals.
Who knows? You might even pick up some Turkish along the way.
Exactly. So as we come to the end of our deep dive into Turkey, any final thoughts?
Well, I think this journey has really shown us that travel is so much more than just ticking off destinations. It's about immersing yourself in a new culture, broadening your horizons, and creating those memories that will last a lifetime.
And I think, whether you're exploring those vibrant streets of Istanbul or floating above those surreal landscapes of Cappadocia or even just savoring a cup of Turkish coffee in a charming little cafe.
The magic of travel really lies in those unexpected moments, the chance encounters, the stories that you gather along the way.
It's those little things that you remember, isn't it?
It is. And for everyone listening in from the English Journey podcast, remember to keep practicing your English.
Yes.
Keep exploring the world and keep tuning in every Friday at 1 p.m.
For more exciting deep dives.
Absolutely.
Maybe one day we'll all meet up in Turkey.
That would be great.
For a real-life adventure.
I'd love that.
But until then, Safe travels, everyone.
Goodbye, English Journey podcast listeners.
Ooh.